Welcome to the University of Massachusetts College Football 26 Dynasty. I am JKM coming at you, taking over this football program, trying to turn it around and make it into a potential national championship contender. It will be a very long dynasty for you to tune into, so please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Some players to highlight in this dynasty: linebacker number 0, Darion Craig; the quarterback, the leader, Grant Jordan Sr.; wide receiver number 2, sophomore, Jaquan Gibson. Moving on to the number 1 star receiver, sophomore, Ty Harding, that's going to be running out of the slot position for us. And then finally, capping off the young receiving room, true freshman Kezion Johnson, who's going to be getting a lot of playing time for us. The UMass Minutemen are a 66 overall across the board. They're a 1.5-star program, and you're probably wondering who's going to take over this team. Well, right now we are looking at head coach Donovan Hedgecock. Hedgecock has been known around the college football surface as starting out as a FCS coach, and he's going to be taking over the UMass Minutemen here. And as we look at their past success, there hasn't been any success at all, because they have not won over 5 games since 2006, when they won 8 games total, and most of it has been 1 to 2 to 3 win seasons for them, and it's been very disappointing over the last 20 to 30 years. They have only ever had success in the 90s in college basketball, almost no success in college football. Going over the depth chart here, we're looking at the quarterbacks, and it's going to be a big quarterback battle for us between the senior and the true freshman. Now, the true freshman, Hairston, might get redshirted here. It's going to be a constant battle, and one of the most bright spots of this team is the very young wide receiver room. I would like to run the football coming in here, but looking at the skill guys that we got, it might have to be a UMass lower level group of 5 MAC conference air raid. But looking at it, we have sophomores and freshmen mostly across that wide receiver room. The offensive line that you're looking at here now is very lacking and does need to be improved. That's going to take a couple years of recruiting to be able to turn this around and to be able to get that dominant run game that we're going to be hoping to pretty much implement here at the University of Massachusetts going. But it's mostly at the very beginning going to be heavily reliant on our quarterback and on our young wide receivers that are going to be developing over these next couple of years as we go into this dynasty. Looking at the defensive side of the ball now, there's not too much to get excited about. It's mostly the front 7, the linebacker core, and then the best part of this defense is that cornerback room. So this team at the University of Massachusetts, the Minutemen, they're very reliant on their skill position guys. They're basically their best guy coming up right here, Darion Craig, number 0, that's going to be coming and being the leader of this defense. But this cornerback room that's about to be shown is by far the best part of this defense. As you can see here, we have mostly juniors and seniors. Now we're going to have to recruit some corners this offseason coming up into the season, but mostly mid-70 overalls, juniors and seniors, so they're really going to be leading and relying upon of those guys there. But overall, this roster is not very talented, and we're going to have to be able to put in a lot of work on the recruiting circle. Hedgecock ended up being a motivator, so hopefully he can end up kind of elevating these guys a little bit as we end up playing a little bit more and more with them, and ended up developing a lot of these guys. So right now you're seeing a lot of clips of a live practice that we ended up having going on at the University of UMass just to try to test out our guys. It's mostly about getting to know the guys on the team right now and figuring out what they do best, and that's what we're doing right now in this open practice, seeing the type of plays that we can be able to make with a lot of these clips going on. And we're actually going to be able to get a couple interview questions with the new coach of the University of UMass, Donovan Hedgecock.
Coach Hedgecock, why do you think you can be successful at UMass?
Well, overall, the reason I think that I can be successful at UMass is because if you look back at my pedigree and you look at all the places I've been, starting out as an offensive coordinator at a lower level FCS school, then moving my way up to becoming one of the most successful FCS head coaches. I really think this opportunity that came to me, I really couldn't pass it up. I think if I really just install my culture that I know that's going to be very successful that I've done in the past, I think that's really going to benefit these guys and kind of getting on the right track and be able to build upon that year after year and really be able to build UMass up, and to hopefully the overall goal is to national championship level and be able to be the premier college football team in Division I.
What kind of team do you envision UMass to be?
That's a really good question. Overall, me being a former offensive line guy, I really envision us wanting to be able to pound and run that ball with the playbook that we have and being a very run-heavy team. But you really got to go off the type of guys that you got. And coming in here, having this open practice and seeing the type of plays that our guys can make is really just going to be able to judge us. I know we got that young wide receiver room, so we might be able to lean more heavily on those type of guys in the first couple of years. Then to actually be able to install that run-heavy team, we're definitely going to have to get out on the recruiting trail and get the guys that match our scheme. But overall, it's all about, finding that culture for your team and then to be able to implement your scheme complementary to the players that you have. Because if you don't have the guys up front to be able to run the ball constantly, you're not going to be able to implement that at this level. And you're not going to be able to be a successful team if you do not coach your team and implement your schemes based on the type of guys that you have. If you're trying to run an air raid and you don't got the quarterback and you don't have the weapons, then you're not going to be very successful. If you're trying to run the power I and you don't have the guys to be able to run the ball and you don't have the best running back in the nation, you're not going to be very successful. I just want to thank you guys for going ahead and having me out and asking me a couple questions at this live practice. Overall, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like the video. Comment down below what you think about it, if you guys are going to be following along with it. And make sure to subscribe to the channel to be able to keep up with all the future videos, all the future games, and updates about it. And overall, just thanks for watching.
Yeah, feel like John Moran. Need a triple-double. Told him check the stats. Yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball. Now I never fumble. I'm the MVP. Now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Moran. Need a triple-double.